gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for June 22nd, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, something big is finally coming to Xbox. Price increases. And Quake 2 begins the rumble once again. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa, everybody. Jan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank Christ. Thank whoever higher power you believe in, whatever creator.
I believe in Chris, the higher power of Chris, the god of hairdos.
Shouts out to Chris. Shouts out to Chris Pereira from GameSpot. Why
yes,
not?
There we go. Yes,
he's a great dude.
God of gaming news.
The god of gaming news for instant coffee.
Is that really doing it for you this morning? Listen, instant coffee is pretty highly caffeinated, right? They just they want to get the job done. That's how it works.
They want to get the job done, and the problem is I haven't had beans for a while, but I bought a lot of instant coffee from one of my local shops. Because Third Wave Coffee Grubb, they've run out of ways to innovate, so they're looking at instant coffee right now.
So wait, are they doing the Chef Boyardee thing where we're going to go and be in instant coffees in stores, or are they doing something with instant coffee in their coffee shops?
So they're just selling instant coffee. Pretty much maybe 80% of the Bay Area big coffee joints are looking to do instant coffee because they need something else to sell. So now they're trying to appeal to that market of people like me that have no time to make regular coffee, or folks that are going camping or maybe office coffee. I bought an obscene amount of instant coffee from Sightglass in San Francisco. Shouts out to Sightglass, free promo. Because I was going camping and that's all I've had. And I think I've gotten used to the instant coffee because you're right, Grubb. It is much more caffeinated.
Oh boy. So it's just it's getting in there, it's firing those synapses, and now you're really feeling it. And when you woke up this morning, did you crave an instant coffee?
It was more like, oh no, I slept too long and street cleaning's coming and then I gotta walk the dog. And then I was like, all right, just rip it and grip it for instant coffee. That's what they say.
Speaking of ripping and gripping, I have never thought I would find myself in this position, Jan.
Oh no.
I think most of humanity thought we would never be here, but I am ready, and I'm going to regret saying this. I am ready to root for Zuckerberg in his fight against Elon Musk. Have you seen this shit? They're trying to do a Vegas octagon fight, and Elon Musk replied let's do it or something, and then apparently Mark Zuckerberg is very serious about this. I cannot imagine, I never in a million years would have been I'll never root for Mark Zuckerberg. Are you insane? Nah, here, sure, whatever, go ahead and beat up Elon Musk. I'm fine with that. Let's see it.
Yeah, I was trying to think of any time I wanted to root for Zuckerberg, and I was thinking Social Network maybe. No, he's a piece of shit in that movie.
Yep. Yeah, good movie though. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Let them fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think best case scenario, they both get embarrassed really bad. And then the worst case scenario, only one of them gets embarrassed. And it's okay, either way. Not that they'll learn any lessons from being embarrassed. Oh, well. All right. Let's get into this show. But before we do, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Xbox Series X consoles and Xbox Game Pass subscriptions are getting a price increase. This comes from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. Microsoft will be increasing the price of its Xbox Series X consoles and Game Pass subscription service across the world, while the console price will remain the same in the United States, Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. In the rest of the world, the new pricing will see it match the PS5 and its recent global price hike. This is a quote from Carrie Perez, head of communications at Xbox. "We've held on our prices for consoles for many years and have adjusted the prices to reflect the competitive conditions in each market." That basically just means it's going to be about 550 euros, wherever PlayStation 5 is 550 euros as well. It's going to be 650 Canadian dollars, 800 Australian dollars. All this will be happening around August 1st. As for the Xbox Series S, its price won't be increased and will remain the same in all markets where it's sold, which makes sense. Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, on the other hand, are getting a global price increase from July 6th. In the United States, it'll increase from $15 a month for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to $17 per month. That matches the top tier of PlayStation Plus, by the way. And the base Xbox Game Pass subscription, which is $10 per month, is now going to be $11 per month. PC Game Pass pricing will remain the same, and if you're an existing Game Pass monthly subscriber, these new changes will only take effect from August 13th or September 13th if you live in Germany. So, hey, Jan, this isn't too surprising. Prices go up. I think it's maybe people will probably be like, the timing on this, they haven't had a lot of games, but I think if they probably have been aching to raise the prices on both the console and Game Pass. And now that the buzz coming out of E3 was so positive and Starfield's looking so good, you do it before Starfield, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're looking to get ahead of Starfield and maybe, well, it looks like Xbox will have like a packed 2024, so they might as well go ahead and increase the prices now, because I don't remember too much outcry over the PS5 price increases. I know folks are bummed in those territories, but Sony went ahead and did it, and they're still doing it. So Xbox is seeing that across the water and thinking like, we could do the same, even though we don't have much right now. And you know, they're gearing up for it. But you're right. After that Xbox showcase, Xbox sentiment super duper high. After that Phil Spencer interview, I got Phil pilled again, and I was like, you know what? Oh, this is great. I love everything here. And they might as well do that now. And but this is with Game Pass specifically. It's very, very small increases that I feel like they're testing the waters, Grubb. They're pushing. They're getting ready to push it down the hill and ready for it to snowball to higher prices, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the destination of all these subscription services is. I think it's going to always be a slow increase, but that you slowly build up a snowball too, and eventually it gets really big. They'll probably do one of these $2 increases every couple of years, right? I mean, that's just how it's worked with Netflix. I expect it to work, and Spotify, YouTube Premium, all the stuff that I can think of that I have that has gone up in price. It's like, yeah, that they every couple of years they increase it, between 5 and 15%, and yeah, that's going to mostly keep them ahead of inflation, and then maybe get them a little extra on top, which is kind of where they're at basically in terms of these increases. $2 of 15. That's yeah. I mean, that's going to get them. That's way ahead of inflation, and it's going to get them a little extra on top. So, taking profit once you have something successful is very common. I think that the argument would be Microsoft. A lot of people feel like they've still been waiting for those big games that prove that Game Pass is really exactly what you promised in terms of day one big games that feel special, and you get them as part of the subscription. So isn't that amazing? Isn't this an amazing deal? I think that they're still out to prove that, but I think they are pretty confident about Starfield. But price increases do push people out. It's 101 stuff that happens. Do you think that this does get any pushback? Do you think this hurts sales, or do you think that the demand really will be enough that they can kind of strong arm their way through this?
I think there's going to be a lot of initial pushback, and I don't know what like the Xbox only console audience looks like right now, and whether or not they're still feeling positive about the platform or they're looking to expand outside of the Xbox ecosystem. But I think they're really placing a lot. They're putting all their eggs in the Starfield basket. Grubb.
It feels that way.
And I almost it's a very ballsy move. And I think that the Xbox only audience are starving and they will eat it up. I think they'll eat all the eggs. They're going to put all the eggs, take them out of the basket, put them in their mouth. That's what they're going to do, Grubb. Why would they not increase the price of PC Game Pass?
Well, yeah. So it's I don't know. I think so. Let's try to like work backward from like what Phil told us on the couch, right? And what he said elsewhere, that PC Game Pass is growing faster. And I'm percentage wise, no doubt that that's true. Like that, because like it's going to be a smaller pool, so every increase is going to have a bigger effect. But I also think that it's like that's still an emerging market for us. We want to still be as appealing. We're still in the gathering phase there. It feels like on the console side of things, they are now in the stagnation. Like we have grown to the audience that has been very easy to acquire, and sure, we'll try to acquire new users as we launch new games, but that's going to be like big points on the calendar going forward. Instead of having like the $1 deal and all these things that are meant to gather more people on console, it's time to take the people we do have and extract as much value from them as possible. And I think that's kind of the thinking here. I think it lends credence to this idea that Game Pass is about as big as it's going to get on console. He said 15% of our business, and okay, so that sounds about right. But what it does seem to indicate, though, is there's not been some major change in the way most people acquire gaming software, and if that is going to happen, it's going to be a much slower process instead of like sort of what feels like overnight change of Netflix begins streaming movies, and now everyone's just like, well, I'm never buying physical media ever again. That's not happening in gaming. And so Microsoft thinks like, okay, we got to get as much money from these people as possible. Does that sound right?
That sounds about right. Folks are chiming in the giant bomb chat that they're in the gathering phase right now on PC Game Pass, at least. And
yes,
that there isn't really a direct competitor there.
No, and the ones that were direct competitors like EA had their subscription service. They still have it, but you can get that as part of Game Pass Ultimate. Like that's just built in there. So
Ubisoft's
Ubisoft Forward
subscription, right?
Right. But
forgot
it's like
about that completely.
Yeah, it's like you think about Ubisoft's subscription, and boy, that's just such a narrow thing because it's like you go there if you like Ubisoft games, and by that everyone kind of has an idea in mind. Now, it's actually pretty robust. There's a lot of games on there, but I think just looking at it from the outside, it's be like I'll just buy a Ubisoft game on sale when I'm feeling like it. And I think so you're right. There's just no real competitor on the PC side for exactly what Game Pass is doing. And I think if that's like their growth area, I think they will probably try to hold back on price increases there as much as possible. Also, I think PC gaming audience is very price sensitive. They are used to shopping around in a way that console gamers usually can't, at least on the digital side of things.
That's true.
So yeah, I think they're going to like hold off on PC as well, as long as possible.
Let's introduce a bartering system.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me just trade these games, and I'll get some games from someone else. Absolutely. Are you subscribed to Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate today, Jan? And do you intend to continue if you have to pay $17 per month?
$17 is pretty steep. I think in comparison to what Sony's offering, I think Game Pass is still a better proposition. And if I was only a console gamer, I think I would stick to Game Pass over PlayStation Plus, whatever the heck they're calling it. But I am still subscribed to PC Game Pass because that seems like a good deal. Also, unfortunately, I'm still subscribed to Fortnite Crew. I need to go remember to
Dan canceled before either you or me.
He plays way more than us.
I know. I think we're just more irresponsible, Jan, insanely, than Dan Reichert. That's very upsetting to me.
Oh God, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
I hate this man.
I really do. They
shouldn't let us go to Evo because you and I in Vegas, it's gonna be like the movie Swingers.
It's gonna be real messed up for everybody else. I'll be fine, but that city will not recover. I promise. I think I just ran out of my like year or two that I had of Game Pass Ultimate, and I think I got my first $15 charge. Which I'm like, the timing on this feels deliberate, like targeted at me. But there's probably a lot of people that got like a couple of years around the same time I did, there's probably a lot that are expiring, and Microsoft's probably looking at it thinking, let's do it now, as a lot of people are thinking about renewing for whatever reason, and then Starfield's coming. $17 a month is a lot, but boy, that inflation and the over the last couple of years has really also devalued my idea of a lot of these things. It's like, yeah, I mean, listen, everything costs more. It's easy to spend, $30 on a single pizza or whatever. $17 is not like completely out of the question. So if it gets if it gets into $20, it's going to be really hard. In the next couple of years, $20 is going to be a really tough number to look at. 17, I'm still like, yeah, the PlayStation's already been doing that. And you do get day one games here, and that's something. So it's easier for me to talk myself into it. All right, let's catch up with a couple of stories that fell out of the Nintendo Direct news yesterday. Starting with the HD versions of Pikmin 1 and 2 will also be getting a physical release. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. As announced during the latest Nintendo Direct presentation, both classic GameCube games have been upscaled to HD and are available to download digitally yesterday for $30. It's $30 each. However, Nintendo also announced that both games will release in a physical edition on September 22nd. The collection titled Pikmin 1 plus 2 will contain both titles in one package. A few other tidbits about this. This is based on the Wii versions of the game, so you have the motion controls, but they also upgraded the visuals to HD. That's pretty cool. I haven't downloaded these yet. I'm thinking about it, though. There's just so much to play, so I'm not sure. Pikmin 1 and 2 HD with the upgraded controls. I think all of that sounds pretty promising.
Yeah, I feel like the gaming industry should adopt a summer vacation after Summer Game Fest or an E3 and be like, all right, let's take 2 months, maybe a month, and let's all just play games. Let's all just catch up. Let's do that, please.
That'd be real nice. And it's like, I tried to look at the next couple of months, Jan. Like, okay, there's going to be a slow period in July or August, and it's like there are still a couple of really big games coming out in both of those months. So there's like a really big one in August, isn't there? I'm trying to remember.
There's like a lot after that Steam Next Fest, and realizing that there's an obscene amount of indies and like AA games.
Core. Thank you, chat.
Son of a dick.
Yep. Yeah, and yes, you're right. All those indie, and like we were looking at those indie game releases that we're all really interested in. It's like Viewfinders in 2 weeks, and this is in 3 weeks. It's, oh my god, like when am I going to have time for any of this stuff? Yeah, Viewfinders July 18th. Yes, exactly.
Do you? I guess. I guess this doesn't matter to folks. Yes, we are all eating. We are eating too much. Yeah. It doesn't matter to publishers and platforms where if you buy a game and you don't get the chance to continue playing it because you buy another game, they don't care about that.
That's right. That's getting you in the door, getting you excited about the thing, spending the money, being like, "Ooh, it's 10% off in the next 2 weeks on Steam. I got to buy it now." Yep, that's right.
Economics, huh?
Apparently, hitting us with those eco lessons. Damn. All right, Yoko Shimomura will be returning to compose Super Mario RPG Remake. I think we mentioned this yesterday, but I just wanted to say it again. This is from my Nintendo news. Yoko Shimomura has confirmed that she is thankfully at the helm of the soundtrack to the newly announced Super Mario RPG Remake for the Nintendo Switch family of systems. The acclaimed Japanese composer told fans on Twitter, "I put all my heart into arranging all the songs, hoping that both the fans of the original and those playing for the first time can enjoy it. Fans can get their hands on Super Mario RPG on Nintendo Switch when it launches on the 17th of November. Very excited about this. Yoko Shimomura is a friggin' god. Dude, her music's so good. So I'm very excited about this.
Highly underappreciated composer.
Yes.
That Jesus Christ. Like I forget how much she's worked on. She's responsible for Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. The good part of Kingdom Hearts, the music. Yes.
yeah. Actually, like, and I think a lot of people will agree. No matter what your feelings are in Kingdom Hearts, everyone will agree that the music is great.
Yeah, she kicks ass. Like, it's just like straight up, and it's I think it's nice, and it's indicative that Nintendo's putting some care into Nintendo and Square into this. That they're like, oh, we're not just like reusing or having someone else take the music and do new versions of it. We're bringing in Yoko Shimomura herself to oversee it. And it's like that. Okay, that feels like you are taking responsibility for this game that a lot of people really, really love. And Nintendo could be like, yeah, Super Mario RPG and not just any other game. And it's like, well, no, there seems like they're treating it with care, and that's really nice to me.
You did Mario and Luigi as well. Oh, geez, all of them.
Yep, she just crushes. Yeah, I mean,
monster.
Street Fighter 2, of course, just amazing stuff.
Right. Whoa, right.
Yes, just amazing work, just incredible stuff. All right, a little bit more from Nintendo Direct stuff. People are convinced Charles Martinet isn't in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Here it is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Live. We have some audio evidence. I'll play for everybody here in a second, and we can judge for ourselves. Since 1991, Super Mario and Charles Martinet have become almost synonymous with one another, at least until Chris Pratt came along and confused everybody with his voiceover performance in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Gosh darn it, Quill. Very funny, Ollie. Regardless, Martinet has been voicing characters like Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi for decades at this point. But because folks on the internet love to argue about stuff, many are currently claiming that Martinet might not be returning in the newly announced Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So what's happened here is that he sounds a little different. So people are thinking it's not Charles Martinet. I have the audio here. Let me just double check and make sure that you're going to hear it when I play it, Jan, and then we'll take a listen. Okay.
Guys, general gaming audience, hey, there's a lot of good video games out right now. And if you don't want to go touch grass because it's the summertime and it's hot, go play a video game. Yeah. Stop with this these conspiracy theories. All right.
Yep.
Go touch grass or smoke some grass.
Smoke some grass for once. Jesus.
Come on.
16 seconds. After this, I think that we will be able to determine between you and me, the judge and jury here. Let's go for it. You hear that?
Yeah. That sounds like Chuck.
Sounds like fucking Chuck. All right.
It sounds like Chuck.
It sounds exactly the same. What it sounds like is they got him in the booth again for the first time in like 10 years. So that's the actual answer here, is that Nintendo has been using the same Mario voice samples in a bunch of different games for a long time now. And so he sounds one specific way. And clearly they got him back in there and had slightly different voice direction. And now he sounds a little bit different, although it's exactly the same. It's just, that's our boy Charlie M. That's right. We got to get Charlie M in the booth.
Also, how old is Charles Martinet now?
Yeah, he's definitely getting up there. But he people are like, oh, it can't be him. He's getting older and it sounds different. But he just did a Mario voice in the Mario movie when he was playing that Jumpman character. It's like a couple months ago. So.
Do people that he's 67? Okay, yeah, he's 67, dude. Also, it's that's not like his normal speaking voice. He has to bump it up, his register up a little bit or whatever.
Wonder's definitely different, right? I think they wanted to do everything new in that game and have no connection to the new games. So it was okay, we're not going to use the same voice samples that we used in every new Super Mario Brothers. Let's get you in here, and because we got you back in here, let's just try slightly different takes on these things. That's all it is. It's a different take.
They were like, Charles, you want to do some shrooms before you get in the booth? Yeah. Let's go, dog.
Yeah, this one's about actually doing the hard drugs. Charles, Chuck, we know you. Okay, people also think maybe he's not Wario. Here is 1 second of Wario.
Oh my gosh.
Excellent.
That sounds like Wario.
Sounds like Wario, yeah. Again, it sounds like a new recording, but it sounds like Wario.
God, gamers, get the fuck outside.
Gamers, come on, everybody. You get a nice thing, and you found a way to argue about it.
Gamers, look at me, look at Grubb. Look at me again, and then look at Grubb. Go the fuck outside. Get a fucking life.
Nintendo has saved the Switch's 2023, but Switch 2 still looms. I kind of wanted to just mention this because I want to talk a little bit about how we're feeling about a follow-up to the Switch. This comes from Ollie Welsh at Polygon. Going into the latest Nintendo Direct, the schedule of releases for Nintendo Switch had never looked more barren. There was no new Nintendo exclusive planned after next month's Pikmin 4, and third-party publishers had almost all left the aging platform behind.
Oh man!
Expansions for Mario Kart and Pokemon would keep the would keep two of the Switch's biggest franchises alive through the end of the year, but beyond that was one big question mark over the future of the console that Nintendo has said it won't replace until at least April 2024 at the earliest. In fact, Nintendo had a few surprises up its sleeve, which pad out the Switch's 2023 slate quite nicely. A new 2D Mario, a new WarioWare, Detective Pikachu Returns, and a remake of Super Mario RPG are now all due out before the end of this year. But aside from a new Peach game and a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the Switch's 2024 remains something of a mystery. Nintendo has done its best, but there is still no disguising the fact that this is a console in its final year, perhaps. You can't accuse Nintendo's internal studios of slacking between now and the end of 2023, and in the wake of smash hit The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo will release everybody's 1-2 Switch, Pikmin 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, WarioWare Move It, and Super Mario RPG, plus Detective Pikachu Returns in collaboration with the Pokemon Company and developer Creatures Inc. It's a solid enough lineup, but then Ollie goes on to say, hey, the third party has a few things. Obviously, there's some Persona stuff coming. But beyond that, it's like, okay, it's pretty grim. I suppose it's pretty normal for Nintendo. But either way, so with that lineup in mind, Jan, are we feeling like, okay, they're going to get through these games, those two they announced for 2024, and then it really is full on to Switch 2 or whatever the successor is called?
It's really difficult to like try and fantasy book with Nintendo because I feel like they don't even know what they're gonna do.
I think that's been the case for the last year or so. Is like they don't exactly know how they're gonna pull it off.
But I think they are miraculously still pulling it off. That I think we may even get to the latter half of 2024 before we even see any new rumblings about what is next console wise, hardware wise from Nintendo. Because of these all the games you mentioned, and then some third party presence, I'm thinking, and I'm looking at Vampire Survivors, and I'm thinking about how much that'll be like an injection into like this Switch audience. Because I know it's available on iOS, I know it's available on, you can play it on your Steam Deck, but there's a lot of folks that still just primarily play games on a Switch, and Vampire Survivors is going to eat up an obscene amount of time. Especially if that 4-player co-op mode is only available to a Switch. That seems like an insane exclusive.
I think they did confirm that's coming elsewhere. I think.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on that. Someone mentioned that to me and I didn't double check.
But there's still like third-party stuff that's heading to the Switch, which I'm completely surprised by.
Yeah.
Like that Penny's Big Breakaway seems like a no-brainer. And
I didn't think about
Switch...
that game a lot. That game's like, it's really stuck with me. I think it looks great.
I think it's great, and I think it's Sega is making big dumb moves for not taking that and making it into a Sonic or a Billy Hatcher.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, exactly. Or just like letting them do this new character, but like let it be a Sega game. Yeah. It's go ahead.
I think the Switch is like a Toyota Camry, Grubb. It's gonna keep going.
Yeah, it does. It feels like the Camrys and the Accords of the console world for sure. Where it's like, it's affordable. Everyone has one. You see them everywhere, and they last forever. I'm like, I think that'll be our poll question. Like, when do people think we'll first hear about the Switch successor? I still think we might hear about it later this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear about it until after even E3 next year. Like any time in that zone is possible. And it's like, okay, then really, what do we know? We don't know anything. No idea.
It's amazing that they've been able to squeeze this much out of it. I feel like there's even a possibility that we'll get another big Pokemon game, maybe something closer to like Legends of Arceus, before the Switch is done.
Did they announce a new Let's Go? Okay.
So that is an easy one that they could throw up and do another one of that would sell gangbusters.
Yeah, and it's like one that would make sense for an end of life Switch that has like lots and lots of systems out there. A lot of kids still have it. You do one more Let's Go. That could fit really well. The console.
Like, let me ask you, Grubb. Like, what is like a victory lap on the Switch look like?
Yeah.
Because we have another 2D Mario coming out. I'll consider Tears of the Kingdom as part of that victory lap because
starting with Tears of the Kingdom
it's gonna have like a very long life. We haven't heard anything about possible DLC. There's still the prospect of a Metroid game in the future.
Yeah, I think so. The victory lap does it looks pretty much like what they announced. It's this: you start with Tears of the Kingdom, you do this Pikmin 4 you've been promising for a long time. The first 2D Mario for the Switch, the first new 2D Mario for the Switch, it comes out. You give people a lot of the remakes they've been asking for, Super Mario RPG, and then you get to next year, and it's probably time for Metroid Prime 4, and you get that thing. It's probably also cross-gen at this point, it feels like. And then that leads you right into the next system. And all those are like the Dark Moon can come out before or after the next system, whatever. It's like it was never going to be a big mover. That Princess Peach game feels like it might be relegated to the same thing. I hope it's not. I hope it's like a really them really going for it. But just the way that they are announcing it and the way they're positioning it makes it feel like it could easily just be like an afterthought. So yeah, those are like things that come out, like the WarioWare Gold on the 3DS, or a handful of other games that came out after the Switch launched and no one bought. So I think like that's already after the victory lap. So yeah, it's like I think they're already there. It feels like they have lined up the ground with beat after beat that will take them through the end of the system. And we probably won't get a lot of new games announced for the Switch going forward after this. We'll have likely a direct in September, maybe a couple other things, but that's where it's like it does get interesting, because it's like, do they announce between now and September? Do they say, hey, a next gen system is coming, so they could start talking about new game, like the games for the next platform at that point? Probably not, because they want to get through this holiday. But it's all on the table, and we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
There's like two things I feel like they could do to like extend the Switch's life up until like E3 time, Key 3 time next year, and I think that is a possible Donkey Kong game that you've alluded to for the past couple of weeks, and then Ring Fit 2. Yeah,
Ring Fit 2 seems like definitely going to happen. Ring Fit Adventure sold so well. I wouldn't be surprised if they go and do another one of those. That would be fun. All right. Sony says it will withhold PS6 details from Activision if it's acquired by Microsoft. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Sony Interactive Entertainment has said it would withhold details about its next console from Activision if the Call of Duty maker is acquired by Microsoft. During a deposition in April via Axios, and Stephen Totillo, shout out, Sony Interactive Entertainment boss Jim Ryan told the U.S. Federal Trade Commission that the company's past collaboration with Activision led to the development of better features on PlayStation consoles that helped the hardware stand out from the competition. But were Activision to be purchased by Microsoft, that partnership would be lost, according to Ryan. We simply could not run the risk of a company that was owned by a direct competitor having access to that information, he told the regulator. As an independent company, Ryan said Activision is incentivized to make great games on all platforms, but that post-acquisition, it would be more concerned with improving the Xbox business than in taking advantage of unique PS5 features or helping Sony develop better consoles. In a heavily redacted section of Ryan's discussion with the FTC, the executive suggested that Sony's experience of working with Minecraft maker Mojang after Microsoft acquired the studio gave the company cause for concern about doing likewise with Activision. Sony has previously suggested that Microsoft could release degraded versions of Call of Duty, blah, blah, blah. This is right in line with that. Jen, this always just continues to feel more like Jim Ryan throwing stuff at the wall to see what will stick. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think he's wrong that they would stop sharing stuff with Activision. They probably would be worried about it. I just don't think that would be some big detrimental thing to the future of PlayStation. It would be fine. They could just talk to a different developer, right?
Yeah, I think this is just someone dragging their feet at this point, and I don't understand how someone can be a complete charisma vacuum at this point, and just makes me actively dislike anti-Riz. Yes, someone that actively makes me dislike a console that I'm actively playing on. And it's like, I'm picking up my DualSense and I just think like, Jim.
Jim. Come
Jimbo.
on, Jim. Yeah. I think the Mojang thing
seems so dumb.
Yeah, it seems because it's at the same time, like, if you desperately needed to talk to someone at Activision Yeah, like there's legal ways that you can put them in a clean room or whatever and say you can't share this, and like just we'll sue you to hell. Like that's possible. But if I just don't think that's actually a concern. I don't think this is something where it's like, if we don't talk to Activision, the PS6 is gonna fucking suck. It's gonna suck so bad. They got a dude over there that told me we should make it good, and then we made it good. It's like, what? No, it's not. Like, you already hire some of the best engineers in the world. You guys make hardware all the time. Your reliance on Activision for the PS6 seems overblown.
This dude is a C-level executive, Grubb. Like, of course, any type of these wheelings and dealings could and should happen in a room with lawyers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know,
it's not like he's chilling at like a bar and being like, "Yo, Mr. Activision, the PS6 is gonna have 12 terabytes storage."
Whoa!
And you know what? We got 2 disk drives.
2 disk drives. One of them's can read and write.
Yep. And then we're gonna have a Walkman. We're gonna switch from PlayStation 6 to the Walkman.
Yeah, we can copy DVDs and then take it with you and listen to it wherever you want.
No, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, this is it, again. It just feels like he's throwing stuff at the wall. Microsoft is their like court battle with the FTC is going on today. We will almost certainly have stories of note on that tomorrow. But again, once again, hopefully that's like the beginning of the end there. Because if they can get through the FTC, they should be good. But if they don't get through the FTC, it seems just as likely everything will actually fall apart. All right, Starfield. Relating to Starfield, excuse me. Todd Howard talks features and more in a new interview. This comes from Samuel Tolbert at Windows Central. This is Todd Howard spoke to the XCast podcast over at Kind of Funny, and speaking on accessibility, Todd Howard confirmed the presence of a large font mode. He said, "I'm noticing that's really helpful when I play. There's a lot more handheld devices coming out where you could stream these games, or sometimes you could play them natively, and it really helps us there as well." So that's one particular where we're really leaning in on. Starfield offers players a lot of things to do as well, but one thing that won't be present is fishing, at least in the traditional sense of casting a rod. He said, like, you can go into the water and like just grab fish, sort of like Zelda. Addressing the balance of handcrafted and procedurally generated content, Todd Howard explains that outside of major cities, the systems used to pull from a suite of content that is handcrafted and chooses to place it or not place it on different planets when you land. Many places will be bare in one facet or another, with Howard noting that only around 10% of the planets have alien life, meaning roughly 100 out of the promised 1,000 worlds to explore. So 100 planets will have life. The other 900 will not. And that sounds about right to me. Some planets are single biome, like being frozen worlds of ice. Other planets can have far more diverse biomes, which is often accompanied by a more diverse range of alien life. Planets have different traits, such as lower gravity or environmental hazards, and unprepared players can quickly end up in a lot of danger. All this can be surveyed, and there are major monetary rewards for fully surveying a planet. Players will be getting around on foot or through the boost pack, though, as there's no land vehicles to use. Touching on companions, Todd Howard confirms that the 4 Constellation companions are all romanceable characters in the game. Here we fucking go. When asked if the players could have a crew entirely composed of robots, Howard hesitates before answering technically yes, indicating that Vasco might not be the only robot companion players can pick up through their travels. There's more to this, but it's a lot of tidbits along these lines. A lot of this stuff sounds, again, very promising to me. It's exactly what I want, because I'm into the idea of a hard sci-fi, this NASA punk, however they want to phrase it. The idea of like, I want it to feel like I'm actually exploring in the way that I imagine future humans will explore space, where it's like it's mostly going to be barren. And then that means when I stumble across something special or unique or bespoke, it's going to feel extra special because it's like an oasis in the desert. That's what I want. Does that sound appealing to you, Jan?
Not immediately. Right. And I'll be honest, I feel like my appetite for Tears of the Kingdom obliterates this thought, but I don't mind a linear experience lately, mostly because there's too much out. Even Diablo 4, which is fairly linear, there's parts of it where it's like, all right, guys, just rein it in. Just give me a hallway to punch things in. But I don't know your excitement specifically, Grubb, with Starfield. It's kind of contagious, and I feel like I also want to be lost in space. Especially if I can have like a dick puncher build in Starfield.
Well, think about it, because like the low
sandwiches.
gravity, you're going to be able to like probably punch a dick into orbit, and that's pretty special.
My question for Todd here is it just straight jabs, or do I get an uppercut?
Sure. Yeah, you really want to just do that Mortal Kombat uppercut right to the groin. Sure.
Exactly. If we're in low gravity too, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. I think that the survey stuff, like I see someone, Natsuel says I'm not with Grubb on this, and I don't expect most people to like share this sentiment about like being okay with like barren planets, because if I stumble across something after a couple hours, that's going to be special to me. I think for most people that sounds like a nightmare, but I'm the guy who likes getting stuck in mud in my favorite game, SnowRunners, and if like I get stuck in mud for 4 hours, I'm excited because then eventually when I get out, that's good stuff. I'm weird, but I think that this game sounds like it's set up in such a way that you will be able to survey a planet from a distance to tell if it's worth your time, depending on what you think your time is worth, depending on what you're looking for. If it like looks pretty barren and you don't want to risk it like being a waste of your time, in your opinion, I think you're going to be able to make those decisions without even really having to set foot on most of these planets. And then if you do go down there and you discover nothing, then it's on you, I think. And that's probably the right way to do this, right?
I think so. I think that's probably the better way of whether or not you want to waste your time, or if you consider it wasting your time. I think the thing that I'm just generally disappointed by is the lack of alien species.
Intelligent alien species, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, there's got to be dudes with like blue faces out there, like really tall blue people with like carbon fiber skeletons, you know, that just use their hair braids to connect to the earth in a special way. And, you know, they have they're very tall, and they're really in tune with nature, and they love these space whales. And I'd love to hang out with them.
Me too. That sounds beautiful. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm ready to get in this game. It's not that far away. September 1st. I'll be playing the early version.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, we're now in the same season, because summer has actually really begun as when this game will come out. So it's summer. This game will come out before fall starts, September 21st or whatever. So yeah, it's upon us, and I'm looking forward to it. And then I hope it's everything they're promising. It seems pretty close. All right, last couple stories here. Sonic Central stream teasing upcoming projects to air on June 23rd. This comes from Tiago Manuel at Destructoid. Sonic the Hedgehog's official Twitter page has just announced that Sonic's YouTube and Twitch channels will host a new Sonic Central on June 23rd. The live showcase is akin to something like a Nintendo Direct and will tease some of Sonic's upcoming projects, partnerships, and events that will take place this year. While we still don't know any details about a possible new main entry in the Sonic series, we know about some of the treats Sega has in store for fans. Nintendo has just announced that Sonic will return in Sonic Superstars this fall. Superstars is an entirely new game made in the vein of the classic 2D Sonic games. It'll feature modern graphics, and we don't just get to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. We'll get to play them all at the same time in local 4-player co-op mode as well. Do you think that they are going to have a lot of major announcements, or is this going to be sort of maybe DLC or updates on DLC for Sonic Frontiers, and a little more information on Superstars, and then maybe like a smaller game or something along those lines? Or do you have higher hopes than me?
My hopes are about at the same level here. I think maybe they could use this as an opportunity to introduce the Knuckles TV show that's premiering on Paramount, I believe. Yeah. Maybe a tease at the next movie. I bet there's another TV show that they could always point to. As far as another Sonic game, I don't know, maybe another mobile Sonic game. Yeah,
that's a good like area to be focused on for something like this. This is where at one of these things they announced the Sonic Bling, right? The gold encrusted Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, I think, We should have got those, man. We should have been rocking those at Summer Game Fest. I don't know what's wrong with us, Jan.
No one would have messed with us.
No one would have fucked with us if we just had the Sonic bling.
Phil would have been like, damn, I got to get on y'all's level.
Yeah.
And then Mad Booty like unbuttons his shirt and is like, oh, no, I rock with them.
you know Booty's down with Sonic, of course. Hell yeah. No, next time we'll make it happen, everybody.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I'm sure there was a Diamond District that had just a copious amounts of Sonic bling down in LA. We just missed out on it. Quake 2 remastered surfaces on Korea ratings board. This comes from Chris Moyes at Destructoid. QuakeCon announcement incoming. Everybody's favorite spoiler, everyone's favorite spoiler, yes. The Game Rating and Administration Committee of Korea is once again at it. This time apparently lifting the lid on an incoming remaster of one of the most genre-defining shooters of all time, id Software's Quake 2. While Activision is yet to officially announce said remaster, we have been here once before, as Game Ratings Board previously leaked the remaster of the original Quake ahead of its official reveal at the annual gathering of all things id, QuakeCon. Given that QuakeCon 2023 is set to take place in a little over a month from now, it seems pretty snug that Quake 2 Remastered is scheduled to make its appearance there. Hey, yeah, that sounds right. That Quake remaster was very good. And this is something that I think id worked on with Machine Games, and now they're going to Quake 2. You could do Quake, but you got to do Quake 2 as well. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then I hope this leads into, and we're doing a new Quake with Machine Games, because I really don't think Wolfenstein 3 is happening. But yeah, if that's not happening, have them work on Quake instead. That could be pretty cool. Does that all sound right to you?
That sounds about right to me. I feel like there's been interesting waves in the Boomer Shooter and Boomer Shooter remake.
Yes, there has been.
Wavelength, where I feel like they're about to catch Gen Z again, you know? Because I feel like the Boomer Shooter taps in to a specific part of the Gen Z brain, and this is me as a lower millennial postulating this.
An honorary Gen Zer.
Yes, an ambassador, if you will.
Yes.
I feel like they can click with the Boomer Shooter, and that yes, Mike IP, it'll become the Zoomer Shooter.
Oh, we're the era of the Zoomer Shooter is upon us.
Yes, the Boomers and Zoomers, the unholy alliance. Bridge
the cultural divide. Bring the age gaps together with Boomer Zoomer shooters. Yeah, I think. I mean, listen, there's so much style in a lot of these Boomer shooters that I think you're right. I think that a lot of these kids will come around and see the truth about how good the 1990s shooters actually were.
So we're going to stop being able to look up soon in FPSs again.
Yeah, no more mouse control, actually. Just left and right and move back and forward. That's all you can do. Here's how much the Lord of the Rings rights sold for. This is a little tidbit from GameSpot and David Walensky. Swedish gaming conglomerate Embracer Group has unveiled the price it paid to acquire the rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit last year, shedding light on the financial aspect of the deal. Variety, confirming the details, is reporting that the Karlstad-based company disclosed a payment of 4.2 Swedish kroner, which is approximately $395 million, to secure Middle-earth Enterprises from the Saul Zaentz company in August. While the initial deal announcement kept the sale price under wraps, industry estimates projected the value of the Lord of the Rings rights, encompassing films, video games, board games, merchandising, theme parks, and stage productions, to be as high as $2 billion. However, the actual price fell significantly short of those expectations. So I think a couple things happened here, Jan. That is still a lot of money. I think it's especially a lot of money for Embracer Group, which is already spending a lot of money. But they looked at it like, well, if I'll be losing money if I don't spend $400 million on Lord of the Rings, that's such a deal. It should be $2 billion. We got to spend this money. And now we're here at this point, and Embracer Group is just, it's reeling, making a lot of changes, doing its reorganizing, where it's going to probably be laying a lot of people off because it has 17,000 employees and a lot of debt. It seems like it has a lot of debt. And it seems like a significant portion of that came from spending $400 million on a goddamn little furry-footed freak.
It just baffles me.
They just walk. That's all they do. They just walk to the mountain.
It just walks to the mountain. Now I'm reconsidering getting really into Lord of the Rings now. I don't understand how money works, Grubb. I don't understand it. And then like just seeing how much Amazon paid for the rights to make Rings of Power. I don't even know how well that show did, even if it did do well.
Yeah. I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is way too serious. They're taking this shit way too serious. These are little furry-footed freaks. Treat them as such. Yeah. $250 million, apparently, the rights that is how much Amazon paid for the TV series, The Rings of Power.
We'll just throw a couple more, put on pay that twice, and you get the whole thing, Amazon. And
it's like, that money was spent before Embracer acquired it, I think. So it's like I don't think they got that deal, but I don't know if that money transfers over as part of it. It doesn't feel like that would be included in the $400 million price. So yeah, weird. It feels like Lord of the Rings still can turn into something big. I know that a lot of fans are pining for that, but I think it just as easily could turn into, 3 or 4 middling games, and then people get kind of sick of Lord of the Rings and forget about it for 10 years again.
I'm sorry, does Embracer only own the rights to the video games or all of Lord of the Rings?
They own all of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's what they bought there.
I'm not saying I don't believe in Embracer, but I don't think I believe in Embracer to properly license some of this stuff out. And I can see very, very poorly made animated films, other films coming out of like, yo, you want a movie all about the Ents? Here we go, baby.
And that's
Mike's dream.
Exactly. Finally, both Mike Mahardy, who loves to fuck trees, and Mike, who just loves entities. So yeah, listen, this is a like kind of a low point for Lord of the Rings because they did just have Gollum, but that was not Embracer. And right. Yet, like, that was Daedalic, but even still, like, it's not like I have a lot of hope that Embracer's going to come and be like, well, now we're going to bring that seal of quality that we're known for. It's like it could just easily be another Gollum-like game from Embracer. But yeah, like they don't just own the game franchise, the IP rights. They also are the ones that you have to go through now to make movies and TV shows and all kinds of other stuff. I think the only thing they didn't get is the book. Like the book printing rights. I think that's still with the family. So if like people want to print out versions of the book, you still have to go to the J.R.R. Tolkien estate, I think. Everything else though, and the fundamental underlying IP is owned by Embracer. And it just feels like one of those things they did because they saw that price and were like, that's too good to pass up, without knowing what they were going to actually end up doing with all of it. And that feels illustrative of all of their decisions. That just is like how we got here to the Embracer of today. Oh man, that's a good price. I should buy that. Well, what are you going to do with it? Well, it'll just be good to have it. That way we have it and we can figure it out later. And then they didn't figure out shit, it feels like. And now Embracer are very predictably in a tough situation.
Oh God, please, Embracer. I know you're listening out there. We are friends. And I want to say this, close friends with a certain 2-time Tony Award winner. I think you should just throw Alex Boniello the bag. I don't know how busy Boniello is right now. He probably is he's super busy. He's always busy. Throw him the bag and let him make Lord of the Rings the musical, please.
And then, listen, and Boniello obviously has a great Gollum, but let's go to the real source of talent. Jeff Bakalar playing Gollum, singing and dancing with that incredible voice of his. I would love to see it.
Oh man, how do we not have a Boniello emote? I feel like this is a crime.
Oh man, I just assumed we did. Okay,
but we do have this in the John Bob show.
Fantastic! Oh, that's very good. Elephant Mario in chats, everybody, in case you listen to the audio version. All right, let's get to the poll. I have it. Oh no, I did that instead. Over here, there we go. Let me bring it up now. What grade do you give the Nintendo Direct? 29% said A. 44% said B. So the majority of people right there in those top 2 letter grades. Then 18% said C. 4% said D. And only 5% said F. I'm sure that is the youth who are just like, these games are for old men. And hey, fair enough. But I gave it an A. So I'm feeling, and again, Elephant Mario's in chat, please.
Please.
For our A letter grade. How are you feeling a day later, Jan, about it?
I feel good about it. Yeah, I feel good about it. I think the thing that I just always desire with any Nintendo Direct is I wish there was more stuff popping out on the Nintendo Switch Online service, like all the retro games.
Definitely.
I'd love some more Game Boy Advance stuff. I think I would say high B.
Yes,
High B.
That seems completely fair, and that's again, that's where most people have landed. Nintendo Switch Online, like Game Boy Advance, it still only has under 10 games, right? It might not even have like 8 games, because I know it launched with 6, and how many have they added? 1 or 2 since then? Maybe they've added a little bit more than that. But it's like, man, Game Boy Advance has an incredible library, and even if we're just talking about Nintendo games and Nintendo's closest partners that actually work with them on this stuff, like Sega or whatever, there's a lot of games you could still put in there. So, yeah. All right. I have a new poll question that we'll get to here in a second. We'll read that all to you, and then that'll be up on youtube.com/@GiantBomb/community on the community tab there. In the meantime, though, Jan, what do we have going on in Giant Bomb for the rest of this week?
No Blight Club today
right.
due to circumstances, but we have an episode of the Voicemail Dump Truck popping off. Tomorrow, another episode of Game Mess Mornings with a special guest. On Professional Fridays, I believe we're going to be doing Crash Team Rumble. Is that what the name of the game is?
I think it's Crash Team Rumble. Yes, I think
Crash
that's the
Team
name.
Rumble.
We'll be playing some of that.
Yeah, and then I believe that is it for the rest of this week, at least. New Jeffs just dropped. The crew started they're in their guide-in period, so they're taking a break from regular Jeffs or JoJo's and doing Cowboy Bebop.
I am very excited to listen to them talk about Cowboy Bebop, because that's a very good television program.
Just very cool. Just very cool.
All the style in the world. So yeah, if you have been holding off on Jeffs, jump in right now. They're talking about Cowboy Bebop, so it'll be very, very good. All right, the next poll question that we will get to on this program tomorrow, when I will have Jordan Miner as my co-host to talk about his new book. I helped write. I put like a small little thing in there. Video Game of the Year. The book, basically. It's very cool. It's got a tie-dye cover. I love the look of it.
Really pretty cover.
He'll be on the show tomorrow, and on that show, we will talk about this poll question. When do you think we first hear about the Switch 2? Second half of 2023, the first half of 2024, last half of 2024, 2025, or later, if you are feeling truly just like an evil spirit and you want to put that out into the world. We'll get to that tomorrow here on Giant Bomb. Until then, though, Jan, thank you so much for spending today with me talking about video games. You know I appreciate it.
Thank you, Grubb. Best way to start a Thursday.
And thank you all for watching as well and listening. Again, show tomorrow, and then we'll get right back into it next week. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Okay, all right, we've done it. We've done it, everybody.
It's done.
Fun show. I enjoyed myself very much.
Zombie Pie, I hate you for introducing me to this Walkman that I don't need, but it looks so good.
Ooh, is there a Walkman? Let's take a look here.
Oh, Grubb. I don't. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I want it. I want it though.
Where's okay? Here. I'll relink it again.
All right. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
look at that.
It's gorgeous.
Their digital media players are actually very good. Sony's. They're like, because they have the really good DACs. Is that what they're called? The high-end DACs. Digital analog converters. Yeah, high DACs.
They have a $3,700 model of the Walkman.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just use my phone too.
I'll just use
my phone. But hey, high DACs. All right, we do have other stuff happening today. We got UPF. That's the only other show, right, that we're doing today?
UPF tomorrow. Dump Truck today. Yes,
that's right. That's what I meant. Dump Truck. We're doing Dump Truck today, and then UPF tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, we'll see everybody for the Dump Truck. In the meantime, though, let's find somebody to raid. Who is out there?
Sorry, YouTube audience. You're not supposed to see this part. Goodbye.
Bye, YouTube.